This is Bridgesburned with Megan and Amy.
Oh, hey guys, welcome to another week of Bridges Burned.
Hello.
Megan, what would we do without celebrities?
I don't know. I feel like life would be pretty boring.
It would be really boring. Like, whose lives would we talk about?
I literally used to talk about celebrities every Friday live on a national channel here in Canada every week. And what would we have done? Who would we have talked about?
I know. And we are recording this. It is Saturday, January 24th. And today actually marks 27 years since Spice World, the movie, came out.
Oh my God. You know what? I went to Spice World. I didn't tell my mom I was doing this, but I said I'm going to Spice World with my friends, and then she dropped me off, but she saw the guy that I actually liked there, and he held my hand at Spice World.
I remember Spice World, like you and I were both Spice girls.
Yeah.
That's just how we were. And I remember I had brought home a stray cat, and my mom wouldn't let me keep it. And she said, if I buy you the Spice World movie, will you give this cat up? I said, yes.
Wow. It was so easy.
It was so easy. It went to live at my cousin's house. But like Spice Girls, like I remember my stepfather telling me that Jerry left Spice Girls, and I thought he was just trying to hurt me. I was like, why would you do that? And I took the day off school because I couldn't.
Yeah, I remember my dad had just come back from Amsterdam, and we got, like, if they bought a bunch of Pepsi or something in Amsterdam, they got like a free Spice Girls CD with an unreleased track. And so we got that, and he came back with it. He had all kinds of Spice Girl stuff because, like, in Europe you could get a bunch of it. And then same thing, it came out in the news that Jerry had left, and I remember looking at my sister, and her like eyes were welling up in tears. It was such a big thing.
It was such a big thing. Like it was just like, we can't even describe it. Like, you had to be there.
You had to be there. It was awesome.
Well, I mean, I think for the younger generation, that would be like their One Direction breaking up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean,
do you know I still have all 5 Spice World girls still in the package at home?
Like the Barbies?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't get any of those. My sister did, though.
I'm waiting for one of them to die so I can really sell them. It's my retirement savings.
Wow, in the package still.
In the package. I was a smart 13-year-old. I was like, nah, these are going to be worth something someday.
That is smart. I should have done that.
Wow.
Do that.
Wait, did you play with them? Oh, you didn't have any.
I didn't have any. My sister had Posh and Scary, and she did play with them. But I think I was at the point where I'm like, I don't like Barbies. Like, I was at that point. It was kind of when I started to a little bit grow out of my Spice Girl phase.
Yeah.
But, you know, we still love Spice Girls. Why are we talking about Spice Girls, though?
Yeah, we haven't gone all Spice Girls all the time. Slam it to the left if you're having a good time. Shake. We are talking because, you know, we talk about burning bridges and a lot of it careers and being a woman. But I think a lot of people don't think about the bridges they burn with their family.
Yes. And who just burned bridges with a Spice Girl?
Holy smokes. Brooklyn Beckham came out swinging at Victoria and David Beckham.
Yes. It's huge news. And obviously, it's more crazy for people like me and you who grew up watching the Spice Girls and then saw when Mel B and Victoria both got pregnant.
Viva Forever.
Yeah. And Goodbye.
Yeah.
They were singing.
I know you come, but you say come, but I will still see you there.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty off. I'm sorry. We'll take that out.
So we saw Brooklyn Beckham in a way, like kind of like be born and grow up and that sort of thing. And this whole situation with his family has happened. And what do you think about it?
Well, here's his statement, right? Because they have been estranged for a little while now.
How long? Did he say how long?
It's been a bit. They're like, oh, he didn't show up at Christmas. He didn't wish his mom a social media happy Mother's Day. So he said, I've been silent for years and made every effort to keep these matters private. Unfortunately, my parents and their team have continued to go to the press, leaving me with no choice but to speak for myself and tell the truth about only some of the lies that have been printed. I do not want to reconcile with my family. I'm not being controlled. I'm standing up for myself for the first time in my life. For my entire life, my parents have controlled narratives in the press about our family, the performative social media posts, family events, and I thought, inauthentic relationships have been a fixture of life that I was born into. Recently, I've seen with my own eyes the length that they'll go through to place countless lies in the media, mostly at the expense of innocent people to pressure their own facade. But I believe the truth always comes out. And I mean, this was like 5 pages.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot. He talks about basically how Victoria and his wife did not get along, and that was like the final straw.
There was also like a thing where he went to London to celebrate his dad's 50th birthday and they just wouldn't allow him to see his dad. And then when they did, they said Nicola's not invited. That's a lot.
Yeah, he said, during the wedding planning, my mom went so far as to call me evil because Nicola and I chose to include my nanny Sandra and Nicola's nanny at our table because they both didn't have their husbands. Both of our parents had their own tables equally adjacent to ours. Like, yeah.
It sounds a little controlled, like the Beckhams really wanted to control a situation, and then when they couldn't, they kind of like lash out. But what do you think? Because like I have heard that the people who are the Spice Girls fans are on Victoria and David's side, and the people who are younger who didn't grow up with the Spice Girls are on Brooklyn and Nicola's side. What do you think?
I think just like the royal family, just like Harry and William and Meghan, I think it's easy to pin the woman. The new woman who comes in and tears the family apart.
Yeah.
What a hussy.
Yeah.
But I think there's truth to every story. And I think when you are an important family, and I think, well, you can attest to this because you are British.
Yep.
There's a way you want to be portrayed.
Yes.
And it's quite perfect. And if you don't stand up to that, then you can be gone.
I'm in no way affiliated with the Royals or the Beckhams, which I wish I was, but I'm not. But I do know that Brits don't like to really be emotional. They like to pretend everything's good and that sort of thing. That is a very Brit vibe, which can be extremely harmful. But I do think that as much as I love Victoria and David, I do think there's probably an element of truth to what Brooklyn's saying.
Yeah. Brooklyn
Beckham did not ask to be brought up in the family like that. They chose to be in the media and be a football player and blah, blah, blah. It's very likely that he was brought up and he had a lot of anxiety. And maybe his parents didn't mean for that to happen, but he never asked to be in the media, in the public eye. So maybe he did have anxiety because it just wasn't for him.
And even though when he was in the public eye, he was probably told to act a certain way. He probably didn't have these wild and crazy teenage, that
I don't remember ever hearing about any of that.
Exactly, because they were probably so self-controlled. Like, I think he brought up David Beckham's 2004 affair that was crushed pretty quickly. Nobody ever talked about it. He did?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Like, why don't you ask my dad what happened in 2004? It's all true.
I didn't see that.
It's like 17 pages. I'm just kind of scrolling through. Maybe I just saw that somewhere, but it's true.
Hey, let's be fair. David Beckham definitely had a fucking affair.
Of course he did.
Let's be real.
Of course
they touched on it in the David Beckham documentary recently. Touched.
And that's as far as he went.
Because they have to.
Yeah.
Because people will be like, well, what about this?
Yeah.
He definitely fucked somebody else. He was a football player. His fucking wife wasn't there. Yeah. I guarantee he did do that. And I do think there's probably an element of control with the media, with the Beckhams, just like there is with the royal family. It's all about control, about what they see, what they don't see, but they also use the media to their benefit as well. And I think that the Beckhams probably do that. Do I think it's necessarily Nicola's fault? No, not necessarily. But when someone new is brought into your life, you see a different way of living. And we talked about this earlier. Nicola is not a gold digger or anything like that. Her family's worth billions. They're worth more than the Beckhams. So, they're very much, I feel like they're very much in love and very equal in terms of finances.
Yeah.
I don't think she came in looking to steal his money or his fame or anything like that necessarily. I think they probably just really love each other, and potentially that was threatening.
And I find it very interesting when children like this who grew up, they're born into what they're born into.
Nepo babies.
Yes. When they don't choose that life or want to go another way, they're often seen in a certain way, burning bridges with their family when they're just kind of choosing their peace over the life that was kind of set for them.
To be fair, though, Brooklyn has also chosen careers in the media. Like, he wanted to be a photographer for a while and had the best people to teach him, had the best people that his parents knew to like guide him. And then now he posts videos of cooking and stuff on his social media, and he has a hot sauce that he promotes as well, that he made or whatever. And he gets interviews and he gets attention because of his parents.
Of course.
So he has done things, and he is lucky to have his parents' notoriety, because he needs it in order for his brands to succeed.
Yeah.
So he is lucky in that sense too. And maybe he doesn't even realize that. But I do think there's probably a bit of control within that family.
Absolutely. And I think it comes to, I can tell you many, many stories of just my friends, whether they were LGBTQ and their family didn't agree with it, so they had to cut them off, or either parents weren't mentally stable and they had to cut them off for their own mental health. I think it happens more than people like to admit, where families are estranged, and it's not because there was this huge fallout or anything. It was just people putting up boundaries of what they will accept, because just because somebody is your mom or your dad doesn't mean they can treat you a certain way.
Yeah, exactly. I've also, during therapy and that sort of thing, and just all kinds of different things I've learned about therapy, people think that you cannot cut off family members because they're your family. And you can.
Yeah.
Just because you were born into something doesn't mean you're supposed to stay there. And if you find a better way of doing life, and if you find a way that you feel is not toxic, then maybe that's the better route for you. And maybe that means cutting off some people in your family as well. Personally, my very close family, I wouldn't cut them off. Mom, dad, sister, that sort of thing. I wouldn't do that. Grandmother, no, I wouldn't do that. I may not agree with a lot of the things they do, but I would never cut them off. But there's other people in my family that I would.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah,
no.
I have a friend, and she found out later in life that she was gay. She married a woman. They're so happy together. Her mom not only didn't come to the wedding, but still refers to her wife as her friend.
Oh, wow.
And then she was like, it's more than a friend. Like, can you please say? And she pretended she couldn't say the name properly.
Yeah.
And, things like that. Like, as a mother, I feel like, you should love your children no matter what, and try to accept and nourish as much as you can. But when you're going to keep, picking at them
yes.
and really doing that, that's not good for your mental health either, because you're declining who this person is.
Yes.
Like you're mad at the child for not becoming what you wanted them to be.
I think if I had that situation with my parents, I would probably cut them off too. To be very fair to my parents, they literally, I could be anything in this fucking world and they would still be like, cool. You're our daughter. So that's like, I've told my parents the most recent shit about me that I've mentioned before that I haven't said exactly what it is. I've told both of them, and both of them were like, what do you need?
Yeah.
Like, I am very lucky. I may not agree with everything with my parents, but like, I am very lucky. But if I had the same situation that you're talking about, I would want to cut them off.
To me, I have boundaries with my dad, with my mom, with, they don't get full access to everything because I don't want to hear it.
I tell my parents almost everything.
I never had that relationship with any of my, like my mom or my dad growing up. Like, I took care of number one, me. Like, I was like left alone to my own devices very young. Like,
you were, yeah, you told me that.
Yeah.
My family wouldn't allow, my mom especially would never allow me to do what you told me happened to you. Like, never. Did I tell them everything back then? No. I think as I've gotten older, and I'm very different than my sister in this sense. My sister keeps a lot of things close. I don't. I just, and like, I tell, if I feel comfortable, I pretty much say everything.
Yeah.
For the most part, like, I don't actually know anything, for example, that I haven't told you. I don't know many things that I haven't. I'm very open. But I all of a sudden just felt very comfortable with my parents, and I realized they will just kind of accept it. They might not agree with it, but they accept it. And thank God for that, because if they didn't, I'd be fucked. Because I've done a lot of fucked up shit.
I can go to my parents for certain things, different things, but like the way that I grew up basically with a single mom who was working, and so I was left to my own things, and like going to the clubs at 14, 15, I grew up a lot quicker than I needed to, but it made me who I am today, and
For sure.
there's no resentment over it because they were just doing the best they could at that time.
I think that is the thing. I first went to therapy, not my first ever therapy appointment, but my main therapy appointment that started me on the journey I am today. I brought my mom, and at the end of it, she said, I feel like this is my fault. And I said, Mom, I truly think that you were doing the best you could based on these circumstances. And to be fair, when I think back, I fucking hate my grandfather, her father. I hate him. He never did anything to me, but he did a bunch of things to her and to my grandmother, and I don't like it. Yeah. But I can still see that he did the best he could with the circumstances he was given. He was also saw his dad beat up his mom, like a lot of violence in my family, a lot of alcoholism in my family. And to be really fair, then his dad and his mom were doing the best they could with the circumstances they were. I mean, I hate being an empath sometimes because as much as I hate all them for doing all that shit, they still just didn't. They were doing the best they fucking could.
Of course. And with the times that they had, like you look back at so my grandmother was an immigrant. She came here from Italy. Like right there, you're going to have issues. And then you look at like that generation of boomers who parents, chances are they were at war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your dad probably saw some shit and now he hides in a study and gets drunk to forget what he says because he's not going to talk about it. So it's not a loving, happy, haha family. So that's slowly passed down. And I think our generation was slowly the generation that broke that open. And this generation, the Gen Zs, are more willing to talk about it and to go to therapy. But like boomers are like not about therapy. And so when I look at like the Royals or the Beckhams, it was like, well, the Beckham is a name and a brand, and whoever's in it is going to die with our secrets.
Yeah.
Whereas now I think people are standing up being like, this is not okay.
No, absolutely not. I mean, honestly, like I said, we're not the Beckhams. I'm not the Royals, but and half of my family's Canadian, half of my family's English. But, I'm going to say it right now. Both grandfathers on both sides of my family were abusers and alcoholics. They beat the shit out of my grandmothers and they drank themselves fucking silly till my dad never even met his real dad. But when my dad decided to look for him, he died at 40, I can't remember if it was 43 or 47 of alcohol and drug use.
Yeah.
He died that early. And, it wasn't perfect and it wasn't good. And same with my grandfather on the other side. He died in the 60s, but of nothing related to alcoholism or anything like that. But he did some terrible shit. But now we can talk about it. We can sit here and I'm not holding anybody's fucking secrets anymore.
Yeah.
I know when I grew up and I'd ask my grandmothers about this. One grandmother was very open. She told me everything because I was told at a very young age about this stuff. My other grandmother on the other side didn't want to talk about it as much. But now we're just like, guess what? It happened. Why are we holding secrets for people that did shitty things?
Yeah.
We're not doing it anymore.
And I think especially for men, when they're talking about drugs and alcohol, I always go back to men's mental health because just picture you go to World War II, you were in Vietnam, and then you come back and you're supposed to live everyday life, and they don't have therapy for you. They don't have a word for PTSD.
Yeah, terrible.
What are you going to do? Of course you're going to sit and drink, and you're probably going to be mad and have terrors and all of these flashbacks. You're not going to be a normal human being. And so I'm just so grateful for all the therapy and people coming up with terms like PTSD and understanding what it is. Not to say that it's great, but like back then they really didn't know.
No, but there were some men that chose to go violent.
Oh,
and
of course.
And my great grandfather, so my dad's mom's dad. My dad's mom's dad. So my great grandfather, I met him because my grandmother had my dad very, very young. And my great grandfather, amazing people. He also went to war. Didn't fucking lift a finger on my great grandmother ever. She was a badass bitch though. Like she's like, I'm like her. Like no shit. I'm not taking any shit from you. I'm the boss. That's what they were like. So he could have chosen the other side, but he didn't. For whatever reason, I don't know. Unless there's something I don't know, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
And just some men did choose it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know.
Of course.
I don't know what they saw. I don't know what they did, and what they did in the future was not good. But guess what? I'm going to talk about it now. In fact, I'm going to talk about this too. Both sides of my family. So we just found out like 3 years ago now that my grandfather on my mom's side fathered a baby that no one knew about.
Wow.
23andMe, baby. 23andMe.
Do you know how many people have found out about that with 23andMe?
Yeah, your grandfathers were all sluts. They were all sluts.
Spreading their seed.
Spreading their seed everywhere. My dad's biological dad, again, my dad never met his biological dad, but he spread his seed fucking everywhere. And this was back in like 1996 or 7 that we found out my dad has siblings, other siblings he never knew about. But way back then it'd be like, hush, hush, you don't talk about this. Da-da-da. No, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Like my mom's dad cheated on my grandmother and had a baby with someone else.
That's crazy.
And she never knew until 3 years ago.
Because that's how it was back in the day. It was like the family secrets die with the family. And now people are talking about it and talking out. So I think somebody like Brooklyn Beckham coming out about his family, everybody's like, yeah. Even Harry leaving the royals, like, oh my gosh, fucking Meghan Markle, it must be your fault. Well, you know what? Maybe he was just fed up with it and all the rules and all the secrecy, especially if you're somebody who wants to speak up and you're constantly told to shut the fuck up.
Harry seems like he's a pretty competent guy.
Yeah.
I feel like he would do what he wants. I don't think I hate when the media is like, these women got them to do, like they have no mind of their own at all.
Yeah.
Like, this was they both sat there and thought, you know what? Maybe leaving's a good thing.
Yeah.
Do I think Meghan Markle maybe is very media savvy and thinking about that a little bit? Yes, I do. But these men have a brain of their own too.
Of course they do. I think too, like we're thinking of very high profile people, but you look at like how many kids live on the street or run away from home because they couldn't live up to their parents' expectations of who they are, what they want. And a parent can't look at their child and be like, we accept you for who you are. The kid feels like they have nothing better to do. Like, could you imagine having a child and it coming to you and being like, this is how I feel, this is who I am. And you're like, you can't live in this house. And you'd rather your child live on the streets, you know, like burning the bridges with family who just don't accept you. And I think that is such a, not a new way of thinking, but just this generation of I'm not going to tolerate it.
I remember a couple of friends I have, this is like 10 years ago or something. They were talking about the fact that if their son said that he was gay, they would be pissed off and they wouldn't like that. I was like, are you crazy? We're the same age. Like, why do you give a fuck?
Yeah.
Because I thought our generation was very accepting of that. If I had a baby right now and because I'm only going to have a girl. If I have a baby, I'm only
manifest that shit.
If she told me she was whatever, I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that matters to me is you are happy.
And healthy.
Happy and healthy.
Yeah.
If those are the two things you are, I couldn't ask for anything else. Bring home whoever you want, as long as they're not an abuser, because I'll kick their ass. Yep. But you know what I mean.
Yep.
Be happy. And I don't know. I mean, I guess it was all about appearances back then. I don't know. It's thank God it is the way it is now, because my child, I would let them be whoever they wanted to be.
Well, it's crazy too. Like, I think as cheesy as these shows are, I think they really have shined a light. Like, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City about Mormonism and leaving and just the culture shock it is for a woman, and you're uncommunicated and you lose contact with your family because you're seen as sin and you can't communicate with your family. You're cut off completely.
It's very sad.
You've burned all those bridges, and especially as a woman, you've lost not only your community but your family members as well. And it's just such a sin that all of that is happening, and you feel guilty for speaking up against things that are wrong that are happening in the community you grew up with. Like, there's a big scarlet A on you because you didn't see the way that they wanted you to see it.
Well, that's kind of where we even started Bridges Burned with, you're talking about things that happened that were wrong and that were messed up, but yet we are the ones that are in trouble for burning bridges.
Yeah.
Like when I left the industry, the radio industry, I was like, listen, I work for a company and they have the biggest mental health day in the year, but they didn't give a fuck about my mental health issues. And they didn't try and help me. And that, you know, I said, but it's like, don't burn bridges. Oh, Megan said this. Oh, we can never hire her again. Why? Because I spoke out about something that's true.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything untrue.
And then I look at somebody like me who just sucked it up and repressed it so hard because I wanted it so bad that I was making myself so severely sick and just losing my mind and sick. And then I was let go, which is fine. I am at peace with it.
It's almost been a year now.
Yeah, April will be a year. But it's like I burned that bridge because I haven't told all the secrets, but like I am speaking my truth, and that could be seen as burning bridges. But really, I'm just saying what happened to me and looking back at Brooklyn, like, you know, because his parents do own the media right now. Victoria just had that new Netflix documentary coming out and stuff, and everybody's always like, oh, where's Brooklyn? He didn't show up to this, or he didn't show up
especially
to
in
that.
England, they own the media.
Of course.
For sure.
So for him to come out and speak, not only that, but he didn't go to like the Sun. He didn't get money for this. He did it on his own Instagram, you know, and I got to give him kudos for that.
Absolutely. I mean, the Beckhams do own the media in England. If you ever go to England, they are everywhere all the time.
Really?
The media is crazy there, number one.
Yes,
And
I
they're
knew that.
evil there. But yes, all the time, because they're English, and Victoria Beckham and David Beckham, like they are the biggest. So for him to do that, I bet he sat there and was like, holy fuck.
I imagine pressing send as him, like
probably
just
shit his
posting.
pants.
Yeah.
I think I would. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's like there's so much coming at him negatively, and it's like, well, I got to tell my truth. So
Yeah.
here it is.
I am a firm believer of there's your truth, there's my truth, and then there's the truth, because everybody's going to have a certain thing. Do I think Victoria Beckham broke up his first dance? Yes. Do I think she started to like twerk on her son? No.
Well, I saw an interview on one of the British morning shows. It's like Good Morning Britain, maybe? I can't remember. Anyway, the DJ from the wedding was there talking about it. And he said that Mark Anthony said, you know, Brooklyn come up, Brooklyn went up. And then he said, now the most beautiful woman in the room come up, Victoria. Okay, Mark Anthony maybe needs to take some fault for this. Why the fuck would you say that at his wedding, the most beautiful woman in the room, Victoria?
And also,
Crazy?
there's a mother-son dance at every wedding. Like,
Yes.
bitch could have waited her turn.
He wasn't thinking properly. I think they're all Scientologists.
Is Mark Anthony that's a whole other podcast episode.
Yeah, this is a side thing, but I'm pretty sure they are.
The Beckhams are Scientologists?
I don't think they've been public about it, but I think they are.
Well, that just opens a whole other thing.
There's something about that because
I'm Googling it right now. You keep talking.
well, when Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise got married, the Beckhams were there, Jada and Will were there, J-Lo and Mark Anthony, and now weirdly the Beckhams don't talk to J-Lo anymore, but they talk to Mark Anthony. I mean, that could just be a divorce thing, but I don't know. I feel like there's something there with Scientology.
Oh, they are not Scientologists, and they have never been members of the Church of Scientology. While they were close friends with prominent Scientologists, they have never been recruited into the religion.
Okay, well, I still think there's something there.
Illuminati shit.
There's something there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anyway, Mark Anthony came up and said the most beautiful woman in the room, whatever. And they said Victoria. And then Nicola obviously ran out of the room upset because why would he say that? What an idiot. And Brooklyn and Victoria started dancing. And then Mark Anthony was like, put your hands on your mother's hips. Like, ugh, that's so weird.
Side note, if you are billionaires, who's asking Mark Anthony to sing at your wedding?
Yeah, really. Like, well, Scientology. I'm telling you. There's something in there with Scientology. And so, like, that's weird. And maybe, like, it was more of, like, Mark Anthony thought that was going to be, like, a fun thing or whatever. That's not, especially in British households, that's not cute. I don't think in Canadian households or American they would be. Like, don't touch your mother's hips. It's fucking weird. Anyway, that's what he said. And that's what the DJ said. He said.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
Then there's rumors that Victoria said she was going to make Nicola's dress, but then like 24 hours before she bailed on it. And I'm like, oh, I could see that happening.
Yeah, but then there's also a rumor that said Nicola was also getting her dress made a year in advance by another designer. So I don't know if Victoria was making like a second dress and then bailed on the 11th hour. I don't know.
You know where I'm getting my wedding dress?
Where?
Amazon.
Oh.
Maybe Temu. Like,
hey, I'm wearing something from Temu right now.
I fucking love it.
It's
like,
cute.
I can't justify that, but I'm just laughing at that. Like, oh no, I will make your dress. You will look like a bag of crap at your wedding.
I'm just like, what? I don't know what happened with that. But even if Victoria was like, I'm not making your dress anymore. You guys are fucking billionaires. Who cares? Go get another dress from the top designer. You can fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, someone like you or me would be fucked because we'd be like, great, it's last minute. We need to get a last minute dress. We don't have the money right now. Money's not an object for them or not a thing for them. So yeah, maybe it would have been rude, but you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, you got the top people working for you. Chill the fuck out.
Yeah. So that has
babies.
been, I know, it's been quite interesting. I'm very curious to see what happens if Brooklyn and Nicola have children and they have grandbabies, because that would be like their first grandbabies. Like, will they reconcile? Will they put their differences aside?
I think they will.
Do Britons know how to do that?
The English know how to say sorry, I guess, in a way. They probably don't say the actual words, I'm sorry. But I think they would reconcile because I've always gotten the sense that Victoria and David really love their kids.
Yeah.
Like, I really think they really love their kids, and maybe they've done some stupid shit that they didn't even realize was messing their kids up. But I feel like they would do whatever they could to fix it.
I feel like looking at them, and especially when they were at their prime of fame, the tabloids were disgusting. The tabloids were always after them and saying that
Victoria and David?
oh yeah, like Victoria couldn't do anything right.
Oh, no.
She doesn't smile. She's a pig. She's too fat. She's too skinny.
Yeah.
She's anorexic. She's this. So I think the control comes a lot from sheltering your children so they don't have to go through that.
That could be it too. I mean, honestly, Victoria and David both got into the media when they were very young.
Yeah.
Early 20s, mid 20s. And that, you're still not fully developed at that age.
Yeah. And I think, too, a lot of this new generation doesn't understand, like, social media wasn't a thing. You didn't get to put out your own content. Things were put out about you, whether they were true or not.
Yeah, that's true. So Brooklyn doing this is not something that his family's been able to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's, they did in their book, like, you could write a book and then people would know the truth.
Yeah.
But, like, you couldn't do it instantaneously like he did.
And that's the thing about social media. Whereas for them, like their documentaries, I think she had a show in 2004.
She had multiple shows.
No, when she first moved to LA.
That was 2007.
It was 2000.
But she had shows also in England.
Did she?
Way, like, before that.
But I don't think they were as open as, you know, like social media is now. Like, you know, people are more vulnerable and everything. Like they still have a guard up and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever been super vulnerable.
Yeah. They'll share what they want to share.
Yeah.
And that's their way of portraying themselves.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they, like I said, they grew up in a time where they became famous in the 90s. And they might just, all the stuff they might have done for Brooklyn is maybe just to protect him.
Yeah.
It could have just been to protect him, and they are maybe doing it wrong. But like our parents do stuff to us to protect us based on how they grew up, and it might not be prevalent to now.
Yeah.
So,
but I think if you can both put pettiness aside and come to work to a resolution, that's great. But if you are in a situation where it is abusive, I think it's totally fine to burn a bridge with a family member, because if it's not good for your mental health and you walk away there feeling gaslit and confused and like a piece of shit, and I think that is probably the hardest bridge to burn, is with a family member, because you feel like you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Well, you're brought up to believe that you have to get along with everyone. You suck it up and just get along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really, like a close family member, I've never really done that with.
Yeah, me neither. I've had my moments and I've stepped back, but I've never cut anybody off. And I do a lot of self-reflecting and think about the situation. I mean, if I was 13, 14 with the mindset I have now, it'd probably be a lot different, and things might have been different, but I didn't. But I think for a lot of people, and if you are listening and you do have like some sort of abuse happening, and I'm not talking about just physical, because emotional abuse, like there is no better guilt tripper than a mother. A mother can guilt trip you to fuck. And so sometimes you just feel like you have to give in and stuff. So if you do stand up for yourself, I think that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Burn those bridges if you have to.
So where do we think Victoria and Brooklyn go from here? David did put out a statement being like, we love him and we'll welcome him back with open arms. Do you believe that that's just media savvy? Or?
Well, I think they would.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just feel like seeing what I've seen from them. Like I said before, I really feel like they do really love their kids. And whatever's happening, I feel like they would want to fix it eventually. Whether Brooklyn would ever want them to, I don't know. But I think they would. I think they would fix it. I hope they do.
Yeah.
I hope they do, because it's kind of sad. Regardless of who they are, that's sad to have your son not want to be a part of the family anymore.
Can I ask you a really important question?
Sure.
You'll be honest?
Always.
What's your favorite Spice Girls song?
Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. You know what? I think I really love Who Do You Think You Are?
Me too. I still know the dance.
Yes, me too. Because when they performed that on the Brits, oh my God, they were so good.
So good.
So good. Yeah.
I know that whole thing by heart.
Their whole first
If you can't dance, if you can't dance.
If you can't dance,
if you can't dance, if you can't dance.
Naked is a good song. There's like, the whole album is amazing. The first album. After that, like way later, Let Love Lead the Way. I really like that song. I think that's a really good song.
The last song I remember of them is like, I wanna hear you holler.
Yeah.
I actually saw them their reunion tour, which was like 20 years ago. So it was all 5 of them. They all came back together, and I remember this part where like Jerry just drops to the bottom, like they just drop her at the bottom of the stage, and then the 4 of them come out, and then Jerry came out and did her It's Raining the Men and everything like that.
Yeah, I saw that too. I went to Toronto. We flew to Toronto.
Did you?
Yeah,
I saw them in Toronto. It was like me and my cousin, because we would like fight over who's going to be posh, but she was older, so I always lost.
Yeah.
But just seeing them, and I was just like, oh my God, like it's crazy the impact that these 5 women had on us. And it sounds so stupid, like girl power, but we didn't have any of that back then. It was hip hop, it was Eminem, it was Backstreet Boys, it was NSYNC. So just to have these girls to look up to, it was just.
I mean, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC came after Spice Girls.
Well, they did.
So did Eminem.
That's true.
Honestly, I grew up at least like with all girl power shit. All the fucking movies I watched were all about strong women. Always.
See, when I was 12, I watched Kids, And that's how I grew up.
Kids. Oh, I think I've seen that. What is that about again?
The eights.
Oh, yeah.
I have no legs.
Yeah.
I have no legs. So that's what I grew up, again, back to my great childhood.
I mean, I saw that too, but like I always saw stuff with strong women, always.
But my like Spice Girls was like me and my cousins, like we're cool ass bitches, and then we would like keep it like in our room and be like dancing around. We're like nobody can know.
Oh, we performed at my Valentine Tea and Talent show, the Spice Girls.
Oh no,
we did.
We did,
and then we reunited.
Did you?
20 years later at my sister's wedding.
Oh, I love that for you guys.
So we all did it again at my sister's wedding.
Yeah,
this time later.
How do you think Victoria has been feeling this week, just sitting there thinking about like the bad publicity about her?
Probably terrible. I mean, I've been looking at her social media and she's only been posting about her makeup brand that has. So she's like carrying on. She's doing the very typical Brit, keep calm and carry on. But I think she's probably in a lot of pain because of it. But they're doing what they would do best and just keep going.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do when you're in the media. You just pretend certain things aren't said sometimes. Have you ever really seen Beyonce ever make a public statement about any rumor on her?
No, but I got that would be a whole other podcast. I don't like Beyonce.
Right. But she doesn't.
Nope.
And then because she doesn't, it stops. Mm-hmm. It goes away. She probably has really good PR people. It goes away. So, I mean, Victoria, same thing. She keeps going. Eventually, it's going to go away.
Yeah.
It will go away, but people are going to want to know.
Yeah. Why do you think Brooklyn just decided to come out all of a sudden?
There's been a lot about him in the media the last few years. I've heard a lot about this dance thing.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It's been out a lot. I've heard a lot about the dancing. I've heard a lot about the fact that they don't like Nicola. I've heard a lot of that stuff. Rumors. But I don't know if something happened all of a sudden. Like, I haven't really been looking into it that deeply lately. I don't know if something just pushed him over the edge. I have no idea.
How would you feel if you were a Nicola or a Meghan Markle and you were truly in love, but that was the family? Like, how do you think you would deal with it? Because you don't put up with shit, but like, this is powerful people you're dealing with.
I don't know about powerful, but my last long-term boyfriend, his mother was a fucking bitch to me.
Really?
Fucking bitch to me.
Why?
She hated me for whatever reason. I really think if I really look into it therapy-wise, around the time he and I got together, she had just been dumped by her boyfriend. She was dating someone by her boyfriend who was 10 years younger. I was also 10 years younger than her son. A lot of similarities there. And he also, her long-term partner, went for a younger woman. I think she looked at me and saw me as that. And she was terrible. And she was so terrible, I wrote a letter to her and I sat in front of her and I read it to her.
Wow.
And I said, I want you to be my family because I'm here in Vancouver. I don't have anyone else here. I want to be family with you. And I'm so devastated that you don't want to be there. And then I said, you did this, da, 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 da. And at the end of it, she looked at me and she goes, well, Megan, that's your truth. And I was like, all right, cool. We're done. We're done then. And I said everything I could. I tried my best to make up with you and be friends with you. And she wanted to hate me, and so she did. And until the very end. And I think she was sort of trying at the end, but I was like, too late.
How did that affect your relationship, though?
It made it hard.
Yeah.
It did make it hard.
Yeah.
Because he was oblivious to what his mother was doing, or he didn't want to see it. I don't know what it was. He was oblivious, though. And I was like, no, don't you see what she just said? Here's a tiny little thing. And it's so micro, but it's control and abuse. So at Christmas dinner one year, she goes, Megan, do you want dessert? I said, no, thanks. I don't want dessert. Dessert to me is optional. You don't have to have dessert.
Yeah.
It's always been like that in my family. She asked the second time, Megan, do you want dessert? I was like, no, thank you. I'm good. Thank you. Third time, Megan, are you going to have some? As she's cutting it, Megan, are you going to have some of this? I'm like, no, I'm good. She cut it, put it on a plate, and put it in front of me. And just to assert her dominance or whatever. And I pushed it away and I said, I do not want this. And whatever, it wasn't given back to me. But I'm like, You asked me 3 times.
Yeah.
I said no. It's like she wanted to dominate the situation. I think she thought if I push, Megan will like back down. No, bitch, you don't know me. I will never back down to you. Ever.
Did you ever ask your significant other to like stand up for you?
Yeah.
And?
He was a little bitch.
Yeah. It's hard when it's your mom.
Yeah, but you know what? If I saw my parents talking down to my boyfriend, I would say, don't you ever talk to my man like that. Ever. Because I see that shit, but my parents would never do that.
Yeah.
There was one time I saw that specific boyfriend speak badly to my mom, to my mother, and I waited till my mom was gone, and I said to him, don't you ever fucking talk to my mother like that.
Yeah.
Ever again. So I feel like I'm good at I can see both sides. You're not going to do that. And unfortunately, I don't know why he couldn't see it, or I don't know why he was trying to not, whatever, but he didn't. And it did make things hard. And after that, I didn't really want her around that much.
Yeah.
And there was times when I'd be like, no, you can go over to her house. I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
There's lots of times like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was shitty. It was really shitty. I didn't want that. I wanted her to. So his stepmom and his dad, I loved them. Love them. I was over at their house whenever. And when my dad came to visit, I brought my dad to their house. When it was Mother's Day, I made sure my boyfriend bought his stepmother flowers. Like, because they treated me so well and they were so amazing.
Yeah.
I still have them on my social media. I love them. I think back to them. I think they're so amazing.
Yeah.
They really treat me well.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. If you treat people well, then you will.
That's it. It's an extension of your family. And if somebody makes you happy, that you shouldn't have to assert your dominance. Yeah, because it's not cute.
It didn't work either for her. After a while, I was like, I don't want her over that much.
And especially like if it's a son and like a mother-son relationship is like, it's special. I get that. But like you should try to open your heart for this person because you could lose your son.
Yeah.
They always say a daughter will stay close by and will be closer to you, whereas your sons, once they're married, they'll go off and have their own family. So you would probably want to keep as much of that as you could.
Yeah. Honestly, I would never want to break up a boyfriend or a husband from their family.
Yeah.
I'm big on family. I love having family. I would never want to do that. But after a while, there's nothing you can do if someone keeps pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing.
Exactly.
What do I do? I was so young then too. I was 25. Like,
isn't it crazy to think 25? How like young you are and naive, but when you're 25, you're like, my life is not where it should be.
Yes, but I am proud of myself because I don't think many 25 or even 39-year-olds would be as brave as I was to sit there and be like, I have a letter and I'm going to read it to you.
That's amazing.
You fucking cunt.
And on that note, this is Bridges Burned with Posh Spice.